This is Casual Babble.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Casual Babble. I'm your host, bcbabbles, and before we hop in, if you're enjoying the show on YouTube, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell also. It will help out the channel and the show keep on going there. And if you're enjoying the show on any of the major streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, the works, then be sure to give us a follow there as well. Like if you can as well. And if you're curious as to where we're being streamed, check out our Linktree /casualbabble. It has a link to all of our different distributions from Podbean, which is our current host. And you can also go to casualbabble.com, our main website, check out the podcast page, and you'll see the links there as well. And also, if you're looking to become a guest on the show, best idea is to join us on Podmatch, a new community that we've been on for a couple months now, and we've gotten a lot of requests for guests. So if you're looking to be on the show as an entrepreneur, or you in some way, shape, or form promote entrepreneurship, like if you are the director of a nonprofit of sorts, you should probably be on the show. So touch base with us there. We do have a link to that as well on our Linktree, again, /casualbabble. And you can connect with us there. Also, be sure to follow our newsletter for updates on the latest interviews and upcoming episodes. Also through the Linktree, you can also sign up for that on the website. So double check on that. And let's hop into some real quick news. And as usual, we are going to be pulling information from our favorite business newsletter, The Morning Brew. Currently not sponsored, but Morning Brew. You know, let's have a conversation because I know you want to, so let's just do it. Let's have a conversation. So today's topic is primed for a trial. Let's see what's going on here. Let's look at the markets real quick. NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow, as usual, looking pretty good. NASDAQ up 0.7%, S&P up 0.44%, and Dow up 0.14%. There we go. 10-year, usually seeing a decent up or down, not seeing anything right now. Bitcoin down 2.51%, and Apple up 4.31% after a pretty long scale struggle, from what I recall. Markets, the S&P 500 had another record-breaking day after chip heavyweight NVIDIA announced a massive investment in fellow AI titan OpenAI. It was also a sweet day for Apple, which turned positive for the year after getting a boost from strong sales since its new iPhone 17, which, if you're not aware, is out now, so check that out. Robots will be able to do everything better, so says this next article. So says the world's richest man, too. Just look at the $1 tea, is that how you pronounce it? The 1T, I'm not sure. Fast food industry. Miso Robotics is already delivering an AI-powered fry cooking robot that can cook perfectly 24/7. With the restaurant industry facing 144% employee turnover rates and 20-hour minimum wages, Miso's robots have already fried 4 million baskets of food for a major brand like White Castle. That traction convinced NVIDIA and Uber AI to partner with Miso to refine its AI and robots. Now, after selling out initial units of its first fully commercial robot in 1 week, Miso's scaling US-based manufacturing across a $4 billion per year revenue opportunity, and you can join at this pivotal stage, get up to 8% bonus stock as an early stage investor today. Low-key, I mean, look at that, to be very honest. And if you're not familiar with the Jimmy Kimmel situation, he said some in my opinion, very mild remarks regarding Charlie Kirk's passing. I watched the whole segment compared to other things that I've seen, which have been pretty harsh on the situation. Jimmy Kimmel was very, very, very mild, but still, Brendan Carr way overstepped and decided to pressure Disney and its ABC affiliates to remove the show. That didn't work because apparently Disney forgot the hands that feed them are not the FCC. It's those of us who buy their stuff. So they lost $4 billion, I think, in the first couple of days since they brought Jimmy Kimmel down. And I think Jimmy Kimmel was going to sue them for like billions of dollars or at least millions of dollars as well. Good on him anyway. But yeah, so that happened. And now I believe as of tonight, Tuesday, the 23rd, Jimmy Kimmel will be back on air. And I mean, when I heard about things that were being canceled, My family canceled their Disney Plus and Hulu immediately, but we're talking people who were canceling their cruises. People were canceling their timeshares. I've heard of at least one like $150,000, $100,000 wedding that was canceled at Disney. They got hit hard, okay? So this is what happens when you forget who actually feeds you. It's not the FCC. FCC, for the most part, make sure that you don't have a lot of fun. It's the people who buy into your stuff. Yeah, we pay you. We're the hand that feeds you. So, tisk Disney. And Brendan Carr, we have our eyes on you. But let's go into this little snippet here. Earlier, nearly a week after Disney yanked Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air, indefinitely amid backlash over the host's very mild comments again about Charlie Kirk's accused murder, the Late Night Show will return to ABC tonight. The company said yesterday that it had made a decision to pull the show because it felt some of the comments were ill-timed and thus insensitive. That's not why. We're very aware that Brendan Carr, head of the FCC, pressured Disney and its ABC affiliates. We're not dumb. Anyway, what else are they making up here? And that it had spent the last days having thoughtful conversations with Jimmy before deciding to bring the show back. I'm sure the thoughts were quite meaningful and thought-provoking. So, yeah. While President Trump and some conservatives praised Disney's choice to remove the show after the head of the FCC and affiliate station owners took issue with Kimmel's remarks, again, very mild. Watch the whole segment. I'll try to include it if I can. Many in the entertainment business, Democrats, and even some Republicans criticized as censorship, which it was, especially given the pressure from the FCC. ABC affiliate owner Sinclair said it would continue to preempt the program amid ongoing discussions with ABC about the show's return. Just saying. Some more about NVIDIA. It's to invest $100 billion in OpenAI for data centers. Talk about customer service. The chipmaker has agreed to sync up to $100 billion into the ChatGPT maker to help it expand its AI infrastructure. But NVIDIA is not just looking out for a fellow AI giant. The deal also ensures that NVIDIA is a preferred supplier for OpenAI for chips and networking gear, the company said. The investment will happen progressively as the infrastructure gets built with the invention of OpenAI setting up data centers with a capacity of 10 gigawatts of power. And using NVIDIA's advanced chips for OpenAI's models, this is a giant project, says NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang. This was also spoken to CNBC. Okay, let's check out some more stuff real quick. Some information about Prime. Trial to decide if Prime tricked Prime users. Probably. Let's check it out. Loki still hung up on the fact that the Wheel of Time was canceled criminally. So I would wager bringing the show back would put a lot of good faith in Prime. So Prime, fix it. Bring us the Wheel of Time. Uncle Sam is fighting Amazon in court for allegedly tricking customers into signing up for Prime and making the process of canceling the subscription into a digital escape room. Now, this would not be the first time I've seen this. Like, certain platforms and websites make canceling unnecessarily difficult. Firstly, I have issues with anyone who's got a subscription to a website that's done through a third party, and you can't request that website directly to cancel subscriptions. I don't like that. That, to me, is just sketchy. I don't like it. Arguments begin today as a case that the Federal Trade Commission filed in 2023 goes to trial. Prime chicanery accusations. The FTC will argue that Amazon illegally used so-called dark patterns to ensnare Prime subscribers. The regulator claims Amazon nudged customers to sign up for Prime membership while hiding its $139 annual price tag and disclosures of its auto-renewal in fine print. Likely. The suit claims that canceling Prime involved clicking through a deluge of prompts. Amazon allegedly internally referred to the obfuscation effort as the Iliad in reference to the Trojan War epic. Amazon will maintain that the FTC misconstrued its internal communications. It also claims that the multi-step cancellation process is standard industry practice and has already been simplified. Amazon made $44 billion off Prime subscriptions last year, and third-party estimates suggest that Prime members spend twice as much as non-Prime shoppers. If it loses the case, Amazon could face financial penalties and might be required to change its subscription practices, while two of its executives could be personally liable per a recent court ruling. Damn. So that's what's going on, some of what's going on in the world today. Again, this is from the Morning Brew favorited here on Casual Babble, which is why Morning Brew should 100% be sponsoring the show, because we love you. We really do. Now, today on Casual Babble, we are opening part 1 with a recent interview with Bryan Charleau, a former athlete turned sales leader and mentor. His story begins where a lot of competitors' stories end, the day the jersey comes off. Bryan talks candidly about the mental whiplash of leaving a life built around practice, schedules, coaches, and team identity, and what happens when that structure vanishes overnight. In the episode today, we get into the under-discussed realities of that transition, anxiety, uncertainty, and the abruptness of being off the roster, and how to separate the objective next season from the very subjective sting of being left behind. Bryan shares the first principles of rebuilding from his perspective, acknowledging the loss, naming what you're actually missing, and assembling a new support system so you can move forward with intention. So, without further ado, here is part 1 of this week's Entrepreneur Spotlight with Bryan Charleau. Please enjoy. How have you been since our discovery talk?
It's going good. It's every day is a new adventure in the profession of sales and coaching and mentoring. So
yeah,
there's never a dull moment. So it's been good. How about you?
Very true. Same thing. Trying to balance a lot of volunteer work. I think I'm a little overstretched, so I may have to slim down a bit on what I have on my plate. Otherwise, I'm doing pretty well.
Excellent.
So happy to have you on, predominantly because you have got pretty much a tailor-made background that's perfect for the show. You cover a lot of bases, like you said, mentoring, sales as well, which has a strong relationship with marketing, which is my background. And of course, you have a great transitional element to your story as well, moving into your entrepreneurship. So, to kick things off, your origin story lies actually in the realm of sports, as we've touched base on. So I'd like to kick off with, from your point of view, what was kind of the emotional and or mental challenges that may have occurred when you transitioned from your everyday life in sports to a career change moving into sales?
Yeah, it's a really tough mental challenge that not just myself. I've talked to many former athletes that I played with, that I've met along the way, that all talk about a very similar story in their transition. And I really think it's an understudied topic that it comes to these athletes, because we grow up, honestly, don't get me wrong, we go as the title of student athlete, and we understand that the educational side of it is important. The one thing is that we get so hyper focused on our athletic performance and helping our team, and coaches and strength and conditioning and meetings. You get so wrapped up in this that you really don't have time to think about the future. And especially when you've been doing it since you were just a kid. A lot of us that make it to that next level, whether it be in university, semi-professional, whatever the case may be, we don't have time to look, at the forest past the tree that we're staring in front of us, which is our day-to-day routine that we get into. Right. So when it comes to that actual time, when either something that you know is coming because it's the end of your senior year, or for some of us that comes with an injury, or comes with a scenario where we has to end abruptly. And we really don't know what to do at a lot of the times. The high majority of us haven't looked into it. So that transition period can be mentally difficult, exhausting, anxiety filled, scary, to put it bluntly. And I felt all of those emotions until I kind of was able to reconnect with a new identity and kind of move forward on what I wanted to do. But it's not an easy thing to do, and a lot of former athletes do struggle with that. And I think it's something that needs to be talked about more often.
I can only imagine, and I was going to mention as well when it comes to even if you had the bandwidth to consider kind of forward path. I imagine that your coaches are kind of already taking up that mental space for you because they're looking at the next season. They're looking at getting you to the next round, to the next set of helping you go big. So I can only imagine how much that abruptness really hits you. It's got to be quite jarring when that initially happens.
Yeah,
So
and the one thing just to add on that, because I think that's a fantastic point, is that when you're on the team, when you're moving forward, you're being looked at maybe from a professional standpoint, like I said, a semi-professional, somewhere where maybe you're going to make some money by playing the sport that you love. When that comes to an end, like it's over. Like
yeah,
there's no transition into like riding into the sunset. Like the coaches need to move on and start looking because they're still coaching next season and you're not part of that program anymore, and there's no holding your hand into the next phase of your life. And I think it is jarring. I think that's a perfect way to put it because you're just gone. You're off the team, and
yeah,
they're not looking out for you anymore. As much as they want to stay in touch, they don't have time to make sure everything's fine and dandy with you after your sports career. So I think that's something we miss too. We've always had these teammates and coaches to rely on and fall back to, and then all of a sudden they're gone, and it really is a difficult mental thing to process.
yeah. And I imagine hearing that as well. Was it difficult to separate that fact from there simply being objective in having to move on and trying to make sure that didn't become too subjective from your point of view?
Yeah, you can't blame them for it. They have a job and a career that they're looking out for as well. And if
Yeah.
they get wrapped up with every single athlete that's leaving from their team, for whatever reason that may be, they don't have the mental bandwidth to process that while also being the best person and coach and performer for the coaches and athletes that they're with now for the new
Yeah.
season. Right?
Right.
They just don't have that. So, but what comes from that is if you've really been paying attention and they have been a really good coach to you and a really good mentor to you, once you kind of maybe fall flat and maybe need to rediscover yourself,
Yeah.
once you do start that climb out of the valley, all of those things that they taught you and brought you along with and showed you throughout your time as an athlete actually start to come through in the next phase of your life. You just didn't know it yet and how it was going to transition over, but you have to discover that yourself. And that's, the double-edged sword of all this is they've actually taught you how to take over, but it's up to you to figure it out.
Yeah, I can only imagine. And not to continue digging into this part, but out of curiosity, when it came to your healing process, did it help? Did you take the approach of kind of touching, kind of going back and forth a little bit to kind of wean yourself off, or did you just do like a clean break? Which path did you go with?
Honestly, when I look back on it, it almost does kind of seem like a blur about what this transition feeling. I know that I had to feel it. Like I didn't know where to go. Like I started looking for jobs, but part of me did want to hold on to the past for just a little
Sure.
bit longer
Yeah.
until I figured it out. But honestly, that's maybe not the best way to do it. Obviously, you're still in contact with these people. You're in contact with your former friends. But what you do need to do is find a new support system for the next stage of your life and start to build that up the way that you relied on your coaches and athletes. Maybe you need to rely on some friends, some colleagues, parents, anybody in this new support system, because some are going to come along with you and you're going to go through that together because there's usually going to be a few of you that are leaving at the same time.
Yeah, and I
But
imagine that helps. Yeah.
it does, but you can't turn into an echo chamber of feeling sorry for yourself or feeling like a
Sure.
victim
Yeah.
to the circumstances. Really, the sooner you can move forward, the more success you're going to find sooner. You're right. Everyone's going to deal with it differently. Some people are going to fall lower. Some people are going to be smooth and hit the ground running. It's going
Yeah.
to be a different situation for everybody. But I think it's good that you are staying on that topic and touching on it because, again, you need to find a new support system though and rely on these people because there are so many more people that are willing to help you as long as you're willing to, move forward as well.
Yeah, and to your point, it's such a multi-layered phenomena, and I also agree pretty underspoken of. So yeah, I wanted to like teeter between digging a little bit, but not like let's avoid pushing the boundaries
Yeah,
here
no, I think
too
that's a
early
great
into the conversation.